Thank you.
Hi guys, so good evening, welcome back to my magical world. It's me, Frostbite, your favorite celebrity here in the Philippines. It's 53 o'clock. It's 12:53 in the morning pala. So I'm going to read pages 233 and 234 of the book Mastery. So still, maulan pa rin, but I think palabas na yung bagyo sa Philippine area of responsibility. Okay? So, let's start. Ano bang date ngayon? 20 ata ngayon. Something like that. Basta consecutive naman tong videos ko, so you don't need to worry about it. Okay. So, as it panned out, the novelty of their idea with which Graham and Morris had come upon, largely because of their distaste for Windows, proved to continue. So distaste for Windows proved to have all kinds of unforeseen advantages. Working directly on the internet, they could generate a continuous stream of new releases of the software and test them right away. They could interact directly with consumers, getting instant feedback on their program and improving it in days rather than the months it could take with desktop software. With no experience running a business, they did not think to hire salespeople to do the pitching. Instead, they made the phone calls to potential clients themselves. But as they were the de facto salespeople, they were also the first to hear complaints or suggestions from consumers, and this gave them a real feel for the program's weaknesses and how to improve it because it was so unique and came out of left field. They had no competitors to worry about. Nobody could steal the idea because they were the only ones who were insane enough to attempt it. Naturally, they made several mistakes along the way, but the idea was too strong to fail. And in 1998, they sold their company named ViaWeb to Yahoo for 50,000, 50 million, guys. $50 million. So as the years went by and Graham looked back at the experience, he was struck by the process he and Morris had gone through. It reminded him of so many other inventions in history, such as microcomputers. The microprocessors that made a microcomputer possible had originally been developed to run traffic lights and vending machines. They had never been intended to power computers. The first entrepreneur to attempt this were laughed at. So, ganun talaga when you're just starting something, di ba? You will always look stupid, weird, and all the other things. You will hear all kinds of craziness. So, wait lang. The first entrepreneurs to attempt this were laughed at. The computers they had created looked hardly worthy of the name. They were so small and could do so little, but they caught on with just enough people for whom they saved time, and slowly the idea took off. The same story had occurred with transistors, which in the 1930s and 40s were developed and used in electronics for the military. It was not until the early 1950s that several individuals had the idea of applying this technology to to, transistor radios for the public. Hindi makafocus guys ang ingay ng fan. So, wait lang. For the public, soon hitting upon what would become the most popular electronic device in history. What was interesting in all of these cases was the peculiar process that led to these inventions. Generally, the inventors had a chance to encounter with the available technology. Then the idea would come to them that this technology could be used for other purposes, and finally they would try out different prototypes until the right one fell into place. What allows for this process is the willingness of the inventor to to look at everyday things in a different light and to imagine new uses for them for people who are stuck. Ayun lang kayo guys. Stuck and rigid of seeing the familiarity of an old application hypnotizes them into not seeing its other possibilities. What it all really comes down to is the possession of a flexible, adaptable mind, something that is often enough to separate a successful inventor or entrepreneur from the rest of the crowd. After cashing in a via web, Graham hit upon the idea of writing essays for the internet. His rather peculiar form of blogging, these essays made him a celebrity among young hackers and programmers everywhere. So I need this kind of people. Hackers. So in 2005, he was invited by undergraduates in the computer science department at Harvard to give a talk. Instead of boring them and himself by analyzing various programming languages, he decided to discuss the idea of technology startups themselves, why some work, why some fail. The talk was successful and Graham's idea so illuminating that the students began to besiege him with questions about their own startup ideas. As he listened, he could sense that some of their concepts were not far off the mark, but they badly needed shaping and guidance. Graham had always intended to try his hand at investing in other people's ideas. He had been a beneficiary of an angel investor in his project, and it was only right to return the favor by helping others. The problem was where to begin. Most angel investors had some related experience before they began investing, and they tended to start out on a small scale to get their feet wet. Graham had no such business experience. Based on this weakness, he hit upon an idea that at first glance seemed ridiculous. He would synchronously invest $15,000 in 10 startups all at once. He would find these 10 prospects by advertising his offer and choosing the best among the applicants. Over the course of a few months, he would shepherd these novices and help guide them to the point of launching their idea. For this, he would take 10% from any successful startup. It would be like an apprenticeship system for tech founders, but it really had another purpose. It would serve as a crash course for him in the investing business. He would be a lousy first investor, and his pupils would be lousy entrepreneurs, making them a perfect match. Okay. Yung boses ko parang nauubos. Yet again, they recruited Robert Morris to join him in the business. A couple of weeks into training, however, he and Morris realized that they were actually onto something powerful. Because of their experience with via web, they were able to give clear and effective advice. The startup ideas they were shepherding looked quite promising. Perhaps this system they had adopted as a way to learn quickly was an interesting model in itself. So, the good thing is that, diba, when someone already started it, diba, they already have the idea on how you are going to bypass the mistakes that they have made. Diba? That's why it's really important to have mentors in whatever industry or field you are in. Diba? So, ganun talaga is, you have to learn how to learn from them. Are you getting my point? So, I'm tipsy, guys. So, most inventors only handle a few startups a year. They are too overwhelmed with their own businesses to handle much more. But what if Graham and Morris were to devote their time exclusively to this apprenticeship system? They could mass produce the service. They could fund hundreds instead of dozens of such startups. Cut na natin dun, guys. Okay? So, wait lang. Yan. By the way, it's Sunday today. It's July 20th, 2025. Okay? Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for helping me make this world a better place for all of us and for the future generation. I will see you again kasi I need to go back inside. Good night.